1. Second x is 1.01. What'd you get when you plugged that in?
3.8781.
And what'd you get for your slope?
-12.1.
Okay. And the fourth one. So we have the 1, 4, and the 1.001. What'd you get for your y?
3.9879.
Good. And what'd you get for your slope?
-12.016.
Okay. So these are average values. Average value is just a slope. I gave you 2 x's, plug them into whatever equation is given to get the y's, and then find the slope between them. Then instantaneous velocity is like what these values approach. So if I look at this, what value are we approaching? What is this? -12. Its velocity, so meters per second. So my instantaneous velocity is about a -12 meters per second. All right. So I have covered this section now. Your assignment is twofold. We're going to do a couple book problems. Page 86, I want you to do 1, 5, and 6. And then there is a handout on Classroom. I thought we might take a look at that handout and maybe do a couple of them together to get you guys started. So if you want to pull up your Chromebook and open up that handout. That's not good. Oops. Okay. So I just want to talk about what we're doing for each section. I realize these are more time-consuming problems. It's not the calculations themselves that are so difficult. It's just a bunch of numbers and tedious to do. So if we look at the first question, it tells us, for each problem, approximate the slope of the tangent line at the given point by making a table of slopes of the secant lines. Okay, what this is telling you, we are making the tables. It has the equation y equals 2x squared minus 2, and then it says 1. 1 is the x value. How do I get the y? Plug it in. So 2 times 1 squared minus 2 is 0. All right, we are going to make what I expect 2 tables here. You're going to have an x, a y, and an m for each table. All right, I want you to use x's smaller than 1 in one table and x's bigger than 1 in the other. But they need to be approaching 1. So if I start at 0.9, what would be the next one closer to 1? 0.99. The next one would be 0.999. If I want things bigger than 1, I might do 1.1, 1.01, 1.001. So I'm asking 3 numbers bigger, 3 numbers smaller, but you have to make sure you are getting closer to 1. How do you find your y? Plug it in. So I'm going to do 2 times 0.9 squared minus 2. Okay, and then I have to plug in 0.99 Does everybody know where my y values are coming from? Okay. My slope. Okay, think about this. We have the point 1, 0, and then we have a second point x, y. Slope is y minus y over x minus x. So this is what I'm doing for my slope. Basically plug in your x and y for the x and y in this equation. So I have my negative 0.38 minus 0 over 0.9 minus 1. I get 3.8. Second one, I have my negative 0.0398 minus 0 divided by 0.99 minus 1. The third one, I have my negative 0.003998 minus 0 over 0.999 minus 1. Do you guys all know how I'm getting those slopes? So then we need to look at what value is this approaching? 4. So what I want you to do is then you do the second table and check if it's also approaching 4, then we can say that overall it's a 4. But you have to do both tables. Does that make sense to everybody? So that's what you're doing on problems 1 and 2. Let's look at problem 3 real quick. I want the equation of the secant line here. I have already given you 2 points. If I ask you to write the equation of the line, do I need to do a table or anything here? No, I'm just asking you to literally write the equation of the line. So you need to find your slope and then plug into y equals mx plus b. So find my slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Get a slope of 2. And then we can do the y equals mx plus b to get my final equation. Are you guys okay with that? Know what I mean from here? One of your points. So your final equation would be y equals 2x plus 2. Okay. Okay, let's go to number 5. I'm really thinking that maybe I want to take off some on this assignment. Are you guys gonna be upset if I take off some problems? You gonna feel cheated? Okay, let's modify this assignment because it's really repetitive. So on the handout, I want you to do 1 through 4, 6, and 8. So you can skip 5 and 7. On the book, let's do let's just skip it and let's just do number 5 only. Is that, I just took off a bunch of problems. Is that okay? Alright, so we're gonna modify that. So on the back of the handout, questions 6 and 8 that we're doing, I want the average velocity over the given interval. So what you need to understand on this, it tells you that 0, -1, those are 2 x values. Okay, so then to get the y, what do you have to do? plug it in. So if I plug in 0 to my equation, I get -1. If I plug -1 into my equation, we get -3. Okay. Then it's asking you to do two things. The average velocity. Average velocity is just slope. So you do your y2 minus your y1 over your x2 minus your x1. Then it asks you to do the instantaneous of the left endpoint. So this is my left endpoint. That's where you're making the table. So your x, your y, and your m. And what should your x be getting close to? The 0. So we might do like smaller than 0 would be a -0.9, -0.99, -0.999. Bigger than 0 might be 0.1, 0.01, 0.001. Alright guys, I completely lied to you up here. Okay, when I was setting up these tables for you, when I made this x table for my negatives, what was I getting close to? -1. What should I be getting close to? 0. You guys didn't catch me. You can't trust me. Don't you know that by now? Okay, so this should have been, if I'm getting closer to 0 from the negative side, that should be -0.1, -0.01, -0.001. I am so sorry, guys.